John Stockton would be a top 4 point guard for sure. For sure.
Would he be better than SGA and Luka?
Yes.
Yes, I think so because the game will be wide open for him. Like
I saw Mo Williams give me 50 when it mattered most. So
you saw who?
Mo Williams.
Shout out to Mo Williams, man. He was one of my honorable mentions. But yeah, I had Oscar.
No.
Honorably mentioned
Honorable mention for what? 6 man of the year? Top 10 6 man of the year?
I can't respect Mo Williams. I know, man, but I had Oscar number 4. Just that offensive engine he was in the 60s was special. But I did deliberate about, am I going to rank like the guys from the 60s? I ultimately decided to do it. But if I wasn't going to, that's why I would have left him off. But Oscar was just an offensive engine. Best playmaker in the league, like for like the whole decade. It felt like elite scorer, elite jump shooter. What held him back from me from West, personally, was the defensive gap. Also, I don't think he was as good of a scorer. And then also, I think the longevity thing was neck and neck. So it just ended up being a defense and scoring.
And that's where the divide is with myself and you, Mars. When you say you don't think he was as good of a scorer, I don't think the scoring gap was that far apart, but I do think that the other stuff was. When I think about what he was, the reason why Cincinnati played the way that they played, Oscar was a glass cleaner at the league guard spot, which is nuts, playing in a big man league with Chamberlain and Bill Russell and Walt Bellamy and guys like that. The fact that he was a double-digit rebounder, the fact that he was a double-digit assist man also, right? So the fact that he was doing that stuff in a league where it was big guys, and the fact that he could score like he could score. He was a scorer who distributed. And he did it in the postseason, too, when it mattered. I think he's one of 3. Let's see. Magic, Russ, Nash, Curry. He's one of 5 point guards to win league MVP. There aren't many other guys who've done that except him. And the fact that
on that list next.
And SGA is coming. But with that being said, he had the misfortune, because we talk about winning, and I talk about winning mattering as much as anybody does. He just had the misfortune of continuously running into the Celtics. That was his problem. He couldn't get past the Celtics, just like Jerry West had the misfortune of running into Boston. That was
They're another team that lost because their defense was trash. Like they never lost because of their offense. Similar to the Steve Nash. They only lost because their defense was trash. So I don't really hold that against Oscar. I acknowledge he wasn't a great defender. Same thing I do with Steve Nash, but I don't really hold that against him. Another thing with Jerry West and Oscar was Jerry West could play on and off the ball. It was on the ball with Oscar. Oscar has the ball the whole time. He's dictating everything. But once you get
Oscar Robertson 6'5", Oscar Robertson 6'5".
Okay. But see, Mark, that's where the divide is, because when we're talking about when we're talking about offenses at that time, I don't think that we equate offense now to back then. When a guy throws the ball into the post, which the game was predicated around the big man, I really didn't have to do that much off the basketball like you do today.
But Cincinnati didn't do that though. They were like the one team that didn't play through the post though. They would give Walt Bellamy and them touches, but they didn't play through the post.
But here's the difference though, Miles. When Wayne Embry did touch the ball on the block, when Walt Bellamy did touch the ball on the block, it was basically just cut to the basket. It wasn't doing a whole lot of other stuff like you see today, where you got a lot of action off the basketball. When you threw the ball into the post, cut to the basket, show, but let the big man go to work. But Oscar, on the other hand, Oscar was creating a lot of stuff. He was creating a lot of stuff for those guys. That was primarily his job. So when I think about Oscar, I had Oscar higher than 6. I didn't have him at 6. I had him higher than that.
I had him at 4. So
that's why I had him at 4.
I had him at 4. So
that 30, 10, and 9 for 8 years. I'm sorry.
Special.
That's hard to move.
And he got the chip in Milwaukee as like the second option next to Kareem. Like,
yes, he did.
He was still good back then. Like he wasn't 30 a game, but Oscar was still very good in 71.
He wasn't over. He could still play.
72 wasn't great, but like 71, he was still but 71 he was still really good. So like I value that too. Like he was really good for like a decade. And being good for a decade in the 60s is like being good for 15 years in the modern game. So like air attacks. So that's why I had him so high.
All right, y'all. This is the list right now in case you are just now tapping in or in case you missed it. At 6, we have Oscar Robertson. At 7, we have Chris Paul. At 8, we have Jerry West. 9, Steve Nash. And at 10, we have Russell Westbrook. That's the list right now. I just put up a poll. Asked you guys, do you think this is a dub list or an L list? Are we winning so far or are we losing? Go vote on that poll. Let us know how you feel about the list. And we will get to the top 5. I'm just going to go ahead and read some super chats. But before I do that, I want to shout out to all of our members. Definitely shout out our Hall of Fame members. Shout out to everybody that subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, I'm working on being a better person, so I'm not going to say what I should say. But if you haven't subscribed, just know I feel a type of way about you. So hit that subscribe button. And to everybody else that's in the comments, salute to you guys. Appreciate you for sticking around. As we all know, the chat clears. Make sure you slap that like button and go vote on the poll as well. Let's get into it, y'all. Oh, and also, starting on September 4th, the PCL playoffs will kick off. So that should be a good time. That will be a good time. And
Swiper, who is that?
I hope to see you there.
What's up, Chill?
Who is that? Who's
This is Doc. Remember, I told you I'm in Texas. This is one of my Baylor colleagues, one of my homies.
Okay.
That's him, and this is him and his wife's dog, a year and a half old. His name is Doc.
Nice.
Good boy. You know, he ain't Chad. You know, I got that Connie Corso at the crib for when she'll come through talking that yap. Feel me?
All right, y'all. We have a couple.
Hey, Ron, if I get Chill on video salsa dancing this weekend, by the way, I need you to post it ASAP.
I got you. We'll make it happen. We will make it happen. Drink More Agua sent through a super chat or a member chat. He's been around for 18 months. He said, "Don't feel bad, Jordan. It's Player's Choice tradition to dig into any list/ranking a guest might have and squeeze every imperfection until you are questioning your own basketball knowledge."
I think it was a good conversation.
It's just, I do too. It's just high level conversations, basketball talk, debating back and forth. Alan Middleton also became a member today. Shout out to him. Riddell, Purple Political Breakdown. Y'all know who he is. He's been around for a long time, but shout out to him for re-upping his membership. Elias Aronson has been a member for 19 months, and he asked a very valid question. Trae Young honorable mention?
Now, he wasn't. I want to say Luka Doncic was an honorable mention.
Yeah,
I just want to put that. Luka
just hasn't accomplished anything at all. But if we had an alley-oop thrower list, Trae might be at the top. Trae might be at the top. That's a
lob
fact.
threat.
A lob thrower. Yeah, Trae might be at the top. 1,000%. Who would you rather throw a lob, John Stockton or Trae Young? Chill.
I dare him to lie.
John Stockton or Trae Young?
Trae. There we go.
Is there video evidence of John Stockton throwing a lob, Chill?
Oh, of course it is. I mean,
there is. Who caught him? Malone?
100%.
Karl Malone is not the center. It's like, well, why throw a lob when I can throw the ball down to Karl Malone every time because was a top 5 scorer of all time. Like
top 5.
They throwing lobs, top 5 scorer of all time, but they throwing a lob to guys like Clint Capella and Jackson Hayes at one point. Like that's because that's the only thing they can do. Like they can't play out.
He was throwing lobs to Brian Russell. He was throwing lobs to Malone. He was throwing lobs to Mark Eaton. He was throwing.
But I don't think lob throwing. I don't think lob throwing. Ocean yeah, I can see it.
Yeah,
I mean, he could dunk, but he wasn't like a jumper.
I just think the game was played differently. Like
that was less.
I wouldn't pick Trae Young over John Stockton, to be honest with you, though.
In this era, who'd be better right now, Trae Young or John Stockton? Jordan?
I think John Stockton would be a lot better than what you think he would be. Like
better than Trae Young.
He'll be TJ McConnell for sure.
No,
I'm thinking about it.
Jordan, don't do this. Don't go down this road, Jordan. It's a rabbit hole. You don't want to get sucked into.
We don't respect TJ. We don't respect TJ.
Bro. I'm not saying I don't respect him, but that's crazy. No,
don't do it.
Wait, hold on, Jordan. Be real.
I tried to crawl.
Would John Stockton be a top 4 point guard in the league right now? Would he be better than Jalen Brunson?
Yes.
At what, Chill? At what?
We're going down.
You're only looking, but you're only looking at. But you got to understand, you're looking at it from a lens of in today's society, they don't play systematic basketball. They play pretty much like a free flowing, freelancing style of basketball.
Defend either, and you don't like non-defenders.
That is not true. He couldn't defend.
Think about SJ doing John Stockton right now.
That is not true.
Turn around.
If TJ McConnell get on the people like that, John Stockton will do the same. Or
better. Give me John Stockton on an island.
Comparing him to TJ McConnell.
I like TJ McConnell, but there's no comparison when it comes down to what they would be. John Stockton would be a top 4 point guard for sure. For sure.
Would he be better than SJ and Luka?
Yes, I think so because the game will be wide open for him. Like y'all don't understand the difference in the game.
You think he's better than Luka Doncic?
I don't think he's better than Luka. No,
I don't think he's better than Luka Doncic, but I think he would be up there with him. The game would be wide open for him. Like you have to understand, like they didn't play basketball like how they played now. Like I'll sit At night, I watch all old games. Like that's all I watch. And the game was played totally different. Like
what you dudes are doing right now.
Big
especially
Ox,
you-
John Stockton wouldn't be better than De'Aaron Fox.
These are the conversations I said I didn't want to have because it just says
You started it. That's what I
You
told
did.
you.
You started it, Mars. You started
He
it.
are, and I just said TJ McConnell.
This the better question. This the better question. If you put those guys, if you swap eras and they have to play like that, are they as efficient and effective as John Stockton? And I don't think so. I think it benefits them in this generation more.
If this was the 90s, Luka wouldn't be in the league. So
that's what I'm saying. But if you put John Stockton in now, he's in the league. That's what I'm saying. That's the better question when you add that to it.
Would John Morant will he flourish in the 90s?
Yeah,
Johnson did.
Yeah, he would.
We gonna get to John Stockton.
They wouldn't be what they are now, though. I think they get worse if you put them in that era. I think those players get worse when you put them in that era, and I think those players that we talking about, I think they get better in this era.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. You're the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.